Hey, look, I just have to apologise because my hair's wet, Megan, because I've just, you know what it's like for us supreme athletes when you go to the gym and then you have to do the post-gym shower hair wash. So, you know how it is, right?
Shower hair wash. I don't know. I don't wash my hair all that often, so yours is still probably cleaner than mine is.
I know. I mean, you know what it's like being a supreme athlete like me, surely.
Yeah. Yeah. We talk about it all the time. It's fine.
Yeah. All I can say is today was leg day. But in the meantime, let's get on with the show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our preview of the 3 T20 Internationals between Australia and India as part of this multi-format series. And aren't they set up beautifully? Australia just getting through with in the ODI segment, and then India really dominating on the tests, which finished with a draw. So the end result, Australia had their noses in front, 4-2. And all to play for, as the cliche goes. I'm all about cliches, but someone who isn't is Megan Schutt, who's the straight shooter, the one who tells it as it is. Thanks so much for joining me, Shooter.
I see what you did there. Clever. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I don't even know what's going to come out of my
original
mouth until it does. Yeah. Look, it's really well poised. I haven't spoken to you since the end of the Test match. In the end, though, you'd have to say that Australia were really outplayed by India, probably from about an hour into the Test match.
Yeah. God, I wish it was a 5-day test. Like 5 days, and we would have had a result. It was frustrating to obviously lose a lot of time to rain, and already with 4 days, it was going to be hard. But sheesh, it was competitive, that was for sure. I think obviously India were just beautiful with the ball. There's not a whole lot I can fault about them. Their tactics, just the way they were able to execute consistently was beautiful to watch. And definitely they finished, on top in that Test match. And to concede a draw, it's just how Test matches seem to go at this point in time, only being 4 days, which is disappointing. But it was thrilling to watch. Australia was battling with the bat, and India batted beautifully at the start, so they earned the right to play out for a draw.
They certainly did, and it was some really entertaining cricket at times as well. Hey, if you're watching live, do feel free to drop in a question or a comment in the live chat. That there, and we'll get to them. If we can. There's some people on there now. Look, there's one from Ray PMB saying, "Hi Melinda, why can't they make spicier pitches in women's cricket so that it leads to a result?" I've been saying this for 10 years, and I'm sure you have been too.
Absolutely. I was licking my lips when the original schedule was out the whacker, because I was hoping for some quick pace. But yeah, I don't think the pitch truly delivered, but also, again, 4 days, and that's 2 Test matches in a row for Australia now that we've lost a lot of time to rain, and it's hard to get a result in that time.
Yeah, it's all these things interconnect. You feel like if you could just get these things, all of these sort of things there, if you had preparation time, like, a warm-up game, if you had a good pitch, if you had all of those things. Hey, one thing I did want to ask you, that story came out about Stella Campbell, Mitch Stark going out and buying Stella Campbell long spikes. She didn't kind of know what they were about. Have you used them before? Is that something that you've thought about?
I have never used them. I know about them, but honestly, I don't hit the deck hard enough to really worry about it. My action is pretty similar. I spend a lot of time on my front, on the tippy toes of my front foot, so I don't really hit and slide all that much. I've probably put sawdust down maybe twice in my entire life, so I can see how that's a problem for someone like Stella. Big girl, come down hard and bowl fast. So beautiful of Mitch to do that, but also shows her age that she didn't know that long spikes existed.
That was kind of beautiful naivety. So some other questions. A good question that takes us forward from Rahul Nutaki, who is always on here, and I know he's a big fan of you too, Shooter. Can you two learned cricket minds? Well, actually, that's just you that way. That's you. You're the learned cricket mind. Predict which paces Australia will play. They do finally, it looks like, have Taylor Vlamic fully fit. She had some niggles, but Meg Lanning said that she was back in the mix at this point. Is she one of the pacers that you expect to see, and who do you reckon might join her for the T20s?
Yeah, absolutely. I expect to see Tay out there. I think she'll be fit and firing, and will be very annoyed she's not been playing cricket for the last few weeks. That's the kind of girl she is. In my pick, it would be Tay. Again, who's joining her is the ultimate question, whether they go Darcy or Stella for another, out and out pace attack. I think for me, someone like Nicola Carey's got a few overs to slot in there, good change ups. And then you've got options like Hannah Darlington, who in a way is a bit of a me, can swing it in and do some cheeky little change ups here and there. So they've definitely got options, and what kind of balance they go for, I think might be pitch dependent. It's hard to say who they're going to play. I don't see them playing all three of Stella, Darcy, and Tay, but we've also got overs up Talia McGrath's sleeve, so they've got too many options, really.
So is that sometimes almost a problem with this Australian team, because you do have so many options, and it's a bit different to the men's game in that you've got a lot more all-rounders. So when you talk about balance in a men's team, even in T20 where it's so role specific, is it really hard in T20, and does that balance sort of change a bit, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. Sometimes having too many options does make it tough, but at the end of the day, they'd be watching them in the nets and going on previous games and match conditions. So obviously Meg would have her 5 or 6 bowlers in mind, and knowing that there's plans B, C, D, and E really in our team, which is really cool to have up your sleeve. But they'd be going in with plenty of matchups and plans. Like 20 overs is not long, and it's pretty structured. So we've got our key matchups, and then it will be scenario dependent, conditions dependent. Could there be rain? Could there be different boundary sizes? That sort of thing. So it's all about picking the bowlers that match up to those predicted specific conditions.
Well, what about when it comes to batting? Because we know Rachel Haynes out, and she normally comes in the sort of in the middle for Australia, whereas she opens in the test. So they obviously made their changes for the test. Do you think that they will look to bring in, another specialist batter like Rachel Haynes to replace her, or does Australia bat deep enough, and having someone to play kind of that anchoring role that she can do within an innings?
Oh, that one's always a tough decision. I think in T20 you're kind of backing your top 6 and know that the bottom 5 are kind of there in case, or are in to come in at the back end of the innings and have a bit of a swing. Obviously, you've got a destructive top order, but that little balance of someone as consistent as Rach is a huge loss. I'm not sure how they're going to go about replacing her. I don't really see them playing Annabelle, as her technique is almost too perfect to play for a T20 match. But I see Nicola Carey coming back into the squad. I think the left-handed too just adds another feature. But I imagine it'll be a pretty similar lineup to the ODI team.
Okay. And when we look at the India side, or Harmanpreet Kaur said she's feeling a lot better with that hand injury that she had that kept her out. This broken thumb, I think it was. Fracture anyway, not completely broken. She's been batting in the nets all the way through. She said today she's feeling confident. It's quite a different side when you compare, the Australian side doesn't change that much, but India without Goswami, without Mitali Raj, ends up looking a different side too, with Harmanpreet Kaur in charge, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there'll be a few changes in their squad. I'd like to see Jemima come in. For me, she's an automatic slot in my 11. And where they want to go with the bowling stocks, I'd love to see Pandey come back in for Goz. I think that would be a really good bowler for those conditions. That I imagine there's going to be a little bit of swing around again, and she has had some success against us in the past. And for me, I think she's a really good T20 bowler. So who else slots out for Harry to come back in will be interesting. But it'll be interesting to see how many changes they do make to that 11 that was so successful in the ODI series.
Yeah, hopefully that answers your question, Samarth Joshi, who says, should Jemima finally get a chance in the Indian squad? She's a delight as well. I tell you what, when she gets in there for those interviews, I could listen. She comes across as a sort of person that you'd really like to hang out with because she's just fun.
She's a cracker. Like, she's clearly just got the personality for it. She's clearly someone you would want in your team and is always up and about. And I think every team needs someone like her. And yeah, India are lucky to have her.
I definitely think they would. And another name, do you expect to see, she's playing her cards really close to her chest today, Harmanpreet Kaur, as far as selection goes. And she was asked specifically about Poonam Yadav. And she just sort of said, have a look at the conditions. But surely when you look at what she did to the Australian top order in particular in that first match at Sydney Showground that the two sides played last year in the T20 World Cup, sorry to remind you of the loss, but when you look at what she was able to do with those floaty, slow deliveries that seem to hang in the air long enough for her to bowl it, run down to the other end and then bat off her own bowling. Would you think she's an absolute must for India?
It's difficult. If you go by previous success, obviously, yes. Again, conditions will come into play. I think, we obviously played her well the next time, but Spotless was a very different pitch, what I believe that we'll see at Metricon. So it will be interesting. I mean, I'm just looking forward to what that 11 is going to be when we see the toss, because everyone has their own 11, but I would love to see what the pitch is going to be like and the weather forecast for that day first.
And have any of the bowlers been, tapping you up for any advice or anything like that while you've been sort of away from the squad, particularly looking into this T20 squad? You've been number one T20 bowler in the world. You know exactly how to do it. First over up, swing the ball in, and usually take a wicket or two.
Nah, I charge too much, so they don't come to me. No, they're independent girls, and honestly, with someone like Benny Sawyer there, they're not going to need me. I speak to a few of the girls casually, but not really about cricket, if I'm honest. It's something that, if I'm not there, I kind of don't want to talk about the cricket. So when I do check in, it's generally more of a social side and just having a bit of a yarn. So I have not had anyone chat to me about bowling, but again, having someone like Benny and the experience that's in that batting lineup, they would have plenty of guidance there.
And where do you think might be one or two of the sort of keys or the key matchups or moments in the game that you think that it'll really prove to be the difference in who comes out on top?
I think spin is going to be a crucial part. I think everyone knows that we're going to come with an out-and-out pace attack. We've got Darcy and Tay are two people that can rip your heads off, and they're wicket-taking players. But as it kind of showed a little bit in the test, they're wicket-taking players, not so much pressure-building players. So they're there to do the work at the other end while someone else ties it down, in my opinion. So I think someone like Georgia Wareham is going to play a key role. Her 4 overs are going to be really important, and hopefully Ashgata gets a go as well to the likes of Schmitty. So it's if they put a little bit of spice in the wicket, I think spinners will come in. If not, pace is going to have to be really important if it's a flat wicket.
There you go. And look, Pooja Gosika has said that there's news coming in. Pooja's we've got their finger on the pulse of reading the Cricket Australia website. News that Darcy and Stella will not play the first T20. So there you go. So that sounds like Taylor's back. Taylor's in. And
interesting bowling options. Again, for me, that just says that, we've got enough all-rounders that kind of cover that. So Stella did a wonderful job in the test. She was actually really impressive for me. She could put the ball in a spot and hold it there for a while. So, for me, it kind of locks in the fact that, Tay's going to rip in and everyone else is going to hold the fort around her.
And who do you think is going to be key for India? I mean, it's going surely Harmanpreet coming back is massive, isn't it? Seeing just how comfortable she is batting after coming back from that injury.
Well, I think Schmitty's got the X factor of being the lefty, and she's coming off the back of a lot of runs and beautiful shots too. It's there wasn't a whole lot of luck that went her way. She just played well, so she didn't really need the luck. But I think someone like Meghna Singh was super impressive. So if she's getting a gig, I think that she'll be leading the bowling attack and will be crucial to start off their innings well.
Yeah, well, we'll know that you're getting your wish if we see Shikhar Pandey and maybe Shikhar Pandey and Meghna Singh sharing the new ball, hey, and getting
it's a pretty good combo.
It is a very, very good combo.
Absolutely.
I just have to bring up a comment by Taylor Ling who says, "We miss you, shooter." Ah.
Oh, thanks, guys. I do miss being there. It is very strange watching cricket. Can't say I like it all that much.
Yeah, we will. And my naughty mother is just walking around in the background. So isn't that terrible?
Hey,
She's
Mum.
now apologising. All right. Well, there's so much to look forward to. And I look forward to hearing some more of your thoughts as we go along as well. I'll probably send you text messages to say, see, you were right. Until
do that a lot.
Yeah, I do. I do that with Jess Jonathan as well. She sends me lots of texts giving me her summations as well. But until then, let's get stuck into it, and looking very, very much forward to this, the final 3 T20Is. Whatever you're doing, I hope you're going to be watching, and we'll see you back here soon. Bye-bye. Sorry.